Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Stock Adventure with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've already covered this week's X books, as well as this week's Spider-Man book, and a surprise Star Wars title. That said, for the next through October, I guess it'll be the next 5 months. We will be covering most of the Star Wars books due to they're all tying into War of the Bounty Hunters. Anyway, moving on to this week's wait, that's not Avengers. That's Heroes Reborn. Yeah, for the next 8 weeks, no Avengers title. Instead, we're getting Heroes Reborn, a 7-issue weekly miniseries followed by a one-shot called Heroes Return. A quick history lesson: Heroes Reborn was 25 years ago. Marvel contracted with Image co-founders Rob Liefeld, Will Portillo, and Jim Lee to revitalize the Avengers and the Fantastic Four characters after the events of Onslaught, in which the characters were killed. It's one of those things where it's kind of thing where it's not. It largely gets derided because of Rob Liefeld's involvement and a particular piece of Captain America artwork that is ridiculed for extremely good reason. I presume most of you know what I'm talking about, but yeah. It's generally used as this is why Rob Liefeld is considered a bad artist. Even when his style kind of cleaned up a little bit, it's still, it still looked bad. But yeah. Personally, I have a nostalgic love for his artwork, but even I facepalm at the sight of that Captain America shot. Anyway, there were problems. It's many of the same problems that the Image Comics had in the 90s as well. That being, meeting deadlines and whatnot. However, having the Image founders, the Image founders who came over for the event involved did boost sales. However, when Marvel sought to extend the contracts of everyone involved, they promptly said, "No, we agree to do this many issues. That's all we're doing." And so the Avengers of the FF returned to the regular Marvel Universe. Yeah. It's largely not really spoken of. I'm pretty certain, actually, the reason why it doesn't get talked about often is because, more than likely, this time around, Liefeld, Portillo, Lee, everyone else involved probably was a bit smarter in negotiating their contracts with Marvel. And because of that, Marvel probably isn't going to wouldn't make near as much from things like reprinting putting out trades and omnibuses and whatnot. So to celebrate the 25th anniversary, well, one of the story arcs that has been running through Jason Aaron's Avengers run seems to be coming to fruition. So, the issue is told from the perspective of Blade. He is apparently the only vampire on the entire planet, but we see him he finds Robbie Reyes. When he finds him, he's actually standing in front of what's clearly supposed to be an out-of-commission Hell Charger. There's also a campaign vehicle that drives by, suggesting he'll re-elect Coulson and let the rebirth continue. But Dr. Doom shows up at the White House days later with the Crimson Genocide Torak and becomes Dr. Juggernaut. He fights. Apparently, the Squadron was able to depose Doom legally by through fair elections, in which apparently Doom came in last place. Nighthawk is then having to deal with his own problem at the Capitol, some reason the buildings turn black, as the Black Skull is there waiting for him. The Black Skull being basically the Red Skull with the Venom symbiote. Then Dr. Spectrum goes into space to deal with an incoming object. Among those flying air cover for the Pentagon and whatnot is Carol Danvers, who it's stated has never even made the rank of captain because she keeps on getting busted for insubordination. Tony Stark was there to see Spectrum lift off because he's about to, show off the schematics for some new weapons that Stark Industries has designed in the Pentagon. As for Captain America, no Avengers ever found him in the ice. So yeah. Elsewhere, Blur is being accosted by the Silver Witch, apparently explained that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver never reformed when Quicksilver was killed in a battle with the Squadron. Wanda's chaos magic allowed her to absorb his powers, giving her magic powers and his speed powers. However, another Power Princess is busy elsewhere dealing with the unstoppable Algog, the final Allfather, destroyer of Asgard. In space, Dr. Spectrum discovers the threat. It's Thanos, wielder of the Infinity Rings. Back from the dead, no less. Days previously, however, in Norway, Blade went to a small bar and tried to talk Thor into joining him, but Thor told him to piss off and then puked all over his shoes. In the present, Blade gets involved against Black Skull and his minions. He ends up fighting back to back with Nighthawk. However, he ends up looking Nighthawk in the eye because he's kind of been afraid. Maybe he's crazy, but he wanted to see this look in someone's eyes. Someone else who knows that everything's a big lie. Now he has. But Nighthawk wants satellites to be. He wants, basically increased observation of Blade. But Hyperion does manage to defeat Dr. Juggernaut while President Coulson watches. The Squadron defeats their enemies, the Masters of Doom. While Blade, how does he put it? Yes, what Nighthawk says, Night Note, enhance all global surveillance, primary target, Blade. But Blade is somewhere in the Arctic. Back at that bar in Norway, Thor slams down his mead horn, demanding more mead. And there's an odd, and lightning crackles. In the Arctic, what does Blade find? Captain America, still trapped in the ice. As for Thor's mead horn, it's no longer a mead horn. It's now Mjolnir. But coming the rest of this month, I checked just to be sure. We're getting a handful of one-shots. Magneto and the Mutant Force, Hyperion and the Imperial Guard, Siege Society, Peter Parker, the Amazing Shutterbug. Those are the ones that are coming this month. I thought there were others, but some of those include the Young Squadron. There'll also be Weapon X and Final Flight. But we'll be covering all of those, obviously. But that is where the issue ends. And before we move on to our next book, Marvel did a fun little promotion. So back in the 90s, superhero trading cards were quite the big deal. In fact, I had quite a few of the fourth series of Marvel Universe trading cards, as well as more than a few of the the first and second Marvel Masterpiece sets, various others, and of course a ton of the X-Men card sets. So the promotion, Marvel got got comic artist Mark Bagley to draw basically, promotional shots of all of the various characters, some of the various characters. And it looks like they all link together. So, got Hyperion, and they even do have on the back of the card a little bit of information. These are actually kind of reminiscent in the look to the Marvel Masterpieces, or the Marvel Series 4. And also in gimmick, as it seems all 9 will fit together in a page to make a single picture. Well, we might actually have to go over these later. Yeah, so we got Hyperion, got Thor, Dr. Spectrum, Blade, Mephisto, verifying that, yeah, this is all Mephisto's doing, which makes sense seeing President Coulson. Coulson and Mephisto were rather chummy before Age of Khonshu. Power Princess. Nighthawk. Captain America. And Blur. In terms of there's also a 10th just promo card giving all the little tagline information showing the first issue's cover. But so yeah, like I said, we'll be going over all of these, and I'll be putting them into a page and showing them off. But moving on to our next book, we got America Chavez, Made in the USA, number 3. Where we left off, America, while investigating who a mysterious figure that had been making life rough on her adopted family, was kidnapped. About just as her powers went on the fritz again. So she comes to face to face with a young woman she doesn't recognize, but who claims to know her. And it's explained that the utopian parallel is not another dimension, a parallel dimension. It's just some rich guy's island. And that America's mothers weren't heroes who sacrificed themselves to save the world. No, they were a couple of scientists who wanted to save their daughter. And America's kidnapper is her sister, or at least claims to be. But America's sister goes through the whole thing. Most of the issue is a flashback of America's mothers arriving at what's referred to as what America knows as utopian parallel. Turns out America had a degenerative disease. She'd just been diagnosed and was degenerating quickly. Their younger daughter had the genes, but had not manifested symptoms yet. So The idea is that they would be they would try to study just what it is, study the dormant gene, hopefully use that as a make a treatment out of that. And if the younger daughter were to start showing symptoms, they got a treatment. But the facility they're at utilizes an unknown energy source, which is stated there have been no truly quantifiable studies based on said energy source. But America gets free. Her and her sister start duking it out. And eventually it turns out that America's sister has restarted their mother's research, and they come upon a room filled with cryotubes with unconscious children in them. But America's sister says that it's time to finish what their mom started. Oh yeah, damn it! I don't know why I keep forgetting that. So Heroes Reborn #1, solid book, good start. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this goes. I don't like the fact that the cards just basically made it clear. Yeah, Mephisto's involved. Mephisto did all this with Coulson's help. Made in the USA #2. Okay, things are definitely getting interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing. I was curious. For nothing else, I was curious to see what it had to say about America, because I enjoyed the character in Kelly Thompson's Avengers West Coast run a few years ago, but she doesn't appear much in many other books. Not enough to where I would follow the character to another team book without there being other characters I wanted to see on the team as well. But I kind of figured at least give a miniseries a shot. And so far, I'm glad I have. Which brings us to our last book for the video, Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon, #5. Where we left off, the immortal dragon of the Heart of Heaven, as well as the immortal spider dragon, were both killed by Okoye, claiming she knew what she was doing, and she was not, and what she was doing was the right thing. At the Baofu Citadel, the true villain, Hierophant, absorbs the power of the dragon hearts that his minion has already procured for him. First goes to the magnificent city of Unzi, where he's accosted by a Sunspot who's kind of busy dealing with Hierophant's undead hordes. Then to Penglai, where his chief henchman, okay, let's see. But turns out they're in the Heart of Heaven, where Okoye has just killed the spider dragon. Everyone's kind of freaked out because it's like Okoye is an ally. She just killed the damn dragon. What the hell? But she insists she's doing the right thing. They say that she does not take the chi of the dragons, but rather it is given to them. Her and Iron Fist have a brief fight, which is interrupted by Kuan Yin, who basically says, "Hey, yo, she's telling the truth, okay? Chill out." Then Hierophant arrives and Brenda, his minion, who he renames Yama Dragon's Bane, stabs Kuan Yin, seemingly killing her. And so, Iron Fist allies come down to lend a hand. Yama Dragon's Bane, however, shows that her weaponry is fairly useless against, Luke Cage and his, you know, unbreakable skin. She tries to use a long priest robe cut on him, but, well, shatters her blade. And so, Cage punches her saying, right hook trumps long priest robe. But, Fu ends up making a run for it. And Brenda and Hierophant chase him down. Turns out he's planning to destroy the portal, the primary portal in Rand Industries, which he does. In the hidden city, Iron Fist and his allies, save for Fu, show up as the ghost dragon of the hidden city comes for them, which is where the issue ends. Solid issue. I think this is actually the next to last issue of the miniseries. It's been a fun ride. I like Iron Fist as a character, but to be perfectly honest, I've never been a huge fan of martial arts comics and whatnot. Martial arts stuff, it's kind of thing where it's like, yes, I recognize the skill that goes into martial arts, but at the same time, it's like, maybe it's in part it's just because I family members went through martial arts training. And it's like, this is something you can do. It doesn't seem like it. It's cool. It is cool to watch, and really well done fight scene is great. But I guess it's a genre that doesn't normally appeal to me too terribly much. Like I said, if I catch bits of a fight scene, like, oh well, that's really cool. I actually want to see that. Or the story sounds interesting, sure. But otherwise, I can take or leave martial arts. The martial arts genre of in subgenre within various genres of fiction. Mostly, I like Iron Fist because of his connection to Luke Cage. That's mainly what it is. Him being Luke Cage's hetero-life mate, and they totally are. Which brings us to our final comic for this video, The Union, number 5. Where we left off, the Union's financial backer, Steve Darwin, took the recently uncovered Empire Stone from Doc Croc and was about to declare himself the new British Emperor. But, so Steve Darwin basically, delivers a big old fuck you to everybody, while Doc Croc is justifying everything he's done, saying, they say I'm a bad man, but why would these people hang around me if I was a bad person? But the choir officially says she's done with Doc Croc's BS. And Union Jack, turns out, has been harboring the spirit of Britannia. And she goes after Darwin. There's a big explosion, Darwin escapes, basically heading to 10 Downing Street to declare himself emperor. A fastball. Bulldog suggests him and Snakes go for a fastball special, though Snakes improvises, rather than throwing Bulldog, kicking him and distracting Darwin. But while the members of the Union try to save the people on London Bridge, on the Tower Bridge, the people aren't really receptive to them. It's more just kind of, I'm being saved by this weird person. I don't know how to react. But Doc Croc's minions go after him. Volcana gets burned by her own powers. Lady Shimmering Lights tries to control Darwin, but he just kind of nope, and disassembles her with a thought. But Union Jack, still once again possessed of the spirit of Britannia, manages to knock Darwin on his ass. Doc Croc then tries to take the Empire's stone. When Craig, the Corgi, shows up and seemingly bites Doc Croc's arm, and then eats the Empire Stone, revealing himself to be none other than Selwyn James, formerly the low-level villain known as Sponge Boy. And Selwyn explains that the thing that Doc Croc fears more than anything is someone who's not scared of him. And Quire tells him that she's not scared of him anymore and hits him with a sonic blast. Darwin Tech collapsed. The rest of the team hadn't been seen. Britannia's spirit kind of vanished in the breeze after saying that she'd always be there in the country's darkest hours. And Union Jack's in the hospital. Also, someone's been transferred. He's no longer in charge of the team. They're pretty much gone. The team is pretty much disbanded. But he's been transferred, shuffled over to the Department for Environment, Food, and Rural Affairs, which works out great for him because he's always wanted a job where he gets to drive a tractor. The Empire Stone was left on the doorstep of number 10 Downing Street after everything was done, in a mounded dog poop, rather large mound at that. And that is where the issue and the series ends. The Union was was kind of an amusing book. It was initially supposed to debut back during Empire, but recent events, the whole pandemic, kind of put a few things on the back burner, including the Union, which got retooled to kick off as a King in Black tie-in. It's a neat concept. I like Union Jack. Union Jack I actually know mainly from Ed Brubaker's Captain America run, which introduced the Winter Soldier among other characters. But he brought in Union Jack on a few occasions, and I rather liked the character. But yeah, this was designed to be a miniseries, and who knows? Maybe we'll see more of the Union. Maybe not. Fingers crossed. But that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.